Yeah?
You wanna watch some scary movies with me?
I was told not to, but my dad's not home, so let's make it quick.
Yeah, because I don't think I can do it by myself.
I'm scared, but we'll try.
So scared. Okay, let's start. This one's called Home Invasion Horror Story.
Oh, that's my worst fear.
Mine too.
It was a cold,
Crib
foggy
invasion.
evening when I contacted a close friend of mine to stay at my place for the night.
Oh
Both
no.
of us were only 10 years old at the time, and my parents were often at
Oh, you're
work
so
until
old. I'm not
midnight,
even 10.
so I was usually
They're
alone
very
with nothing to do except watching a television show or reading a book.
Like we are right
I bet he's
now.
watching Rugrats.
Agreed to come over and
Yeah.
play a game of Monopoly to pass some of the time.
I love
I
Monopoly.
also asked if he was interested in going to explore an abandoned subway station 3 miles
No,
away.
that's a bad idea.
He seemed excited
dad
at
would be so
first,
mad.
so we planned to go on the trip in the morning.
Oh, Cassie, they're going to the abandoned subway.
I'm scared. I don't...
But I don't think they should. We should get them grounded. I'm telling their parents.
Do you think there's gonna be ghosts?
Yeah, there's always ghosts in abandoned stuff.
Oh, I hate ghosts.
Me too.
Alright, we gotta watch before I get too scared.
Okay, me too.
I remembered that the subway dated back to the mid-1920s and became abandoned in 1932 after the market
So
crash
old.
in
No, and
1929.
there's rats.
I was very fascinated about its history, but never got the chance to go inside after my parents had warned me not to enter. As I quietly slept in my bed,
I like this
heard what
poster.
sounded like a gunshot coming from the forest behind the house. Both of us woke up, frightened after what we had heard, and I told my friend not to worry, as hunters tend to go into the forest on frequent occasions, but when I checked the time, it was 11:39 p.m.
Oh
This
no, oh
seemed
no.
very
Worst slumber party ever.
Hunters only came into the forest between
Yes.
8 p.m. and 10
This makes me
p.m.
never want to leave my crib.
I looked at Alex and decided to get out of my bed, intending to look through the window and spot for anyone in the forest.
No, don't look for him.
No, stop. He shouldn't do that.
No, he shouldn't do that. You hide. You take your blanket and you hide.
Maybe we can help him. Can we send him a message?
I don't have my phone.
Okay, so I don't have a...
Oh wait, I'm using my phone to talk to you.
Oh, so am I.
I was unable to see anyone in the forest. I turned around and looked at Alex again, when suddenly I heard the front door squeak open.
Oh no, somebody's
Chills went down my
home.
spine. Both of us quietly moved to the bathroom, locked the door, and kept the light off.
Yeah, keep the light off.
Place in the house.
It's scary with the
Both of
lights
us
off.
were
I would turn them
terrified as we
on.
desperately tried to keep
No,
it
you would die.
good.
No, don't say that, Cassie.
We heard footsteps getting louder and louder until they stopped in front of the bathroom door.
Oh no.
Please be mom.
The most terrifying sound forced my heart to almost burst. Both of us screamed as the person chopped the door to pieces. It was pitch black inside the room, making it hard to find the vent, and by the time I spotted the vent, the person behind the door had made a hole big enough for
Oh, he's
us
a
to
mask. Those
The
are
man
the
adorned
scariest.
black leather and was wearing a plague doctor mask. I scurried back to the vent, but it was too high above the
Oh,
floor
no.
for us to reach it.
Is he
Alex
breaking the
told
door
me to
with
go
his
first
mask?
because he was the strongest.
Like,
With his mouth.
He lifted me up on his shoulders, allowing me to open the vent.
oh
and
no,
go
but he's gonna
inside.
survive and his friend isn't.
When I looked at the door again, the man had managed to fit his arm
Oh,
through the
no.
hole and reached for the lock. I quickly
Azzy!
I'm so scared, Cassie.
I don't think I'm allowed to watch this. Oh!
I shouted
oh, we're
and
gonna have
began going
nightmares.
after him. I
gotta
pursued the
chase
figure
it.
until I was led to the abandoned subway deep within the
Oh
forest,
no, not the subway.
meaning that I could only see objects within a range of 5 or 6 yards. Inside the subway was a pool of freezing cold water. It was so dark that I couldn't see anything.
He's such a good
I had to rely
friend.
on listening to the screams
Hope
from
he can swim.
and track the source. As I slowly walked through the subway, I was now struggling to breathe under the intense stress and fear of the situation. I called, but
Alex, come
Come
back!
back,
I
Alex.
continued walking through the water until the exit was no longer visible. I was now experiencing a massive panic attack. I had lost track of Alex, and I had no idea where I was or how to get out. Where are you, Alex?
Oh no.
Where's Alex though? And he was never seen again.
Is it true?
I don't know.
Oh no.
I'm scared.
Well, they were 10. They lived long lives.
That's true. They were so old. They probably didn't even have to go outside with mom
No, they probably had wives and mortgages
and taxes.
and taxes.
Cassie, let's watch another one. And maybe the next one will have a happy ending.
Yeah, I think I want a happy ending.
Yeah, we'll watch another one just for a happy ending. I found one about kids.
When I was 8 years old,
Oh,
I used to live
it's
in my grandma's house in Ecuador.
We can
Many
be
of the
friends
neighbors
with
would talk
him.
to my parents about seeing weird stuff in the house, like shadows moving around the windows when we weren't home.
Oh no.
It would come to our heads was that someone must have broken into the house, but nothing would ever be missing. Of course, they didn't think that there was someone breaking in. They were sure that our house was haunted. Everyone even refused to come inside for parties or any other special occasion.
Oh no,
They
I
told us to
can't
get a
imagine
priest and to get rid
having
of
a
any bad
haunted
spirits.
house.
We didn't take their
I think the
warnings as
neighbors are
something
right.
important because
No,
our
you should
parents
always
don't
take the
believe in those
warnings.
kinds of things.
Even we know that, and we're just babies.
Yeah, well, the neighbors know because they probably lived there longer.
Move!
Get out!
Although I would hear someone going up the stairs at night, our stairs were really old, so they would make a loud sound when someone would step on them. However, when I checked, there was nothing. I would just run to my bed and cover my head with the sheets and fell asleep.
It's the boogie monster!
I started knocking on the door
boogie
really hard and
monster.
screaming. We got really scared as it was 12:30 a.m. and everyone was asleep by then in our neighborhood.
I still sleep with the
It
lights
was
on.
extremely rare
me
that
too.
someone would be up at that time. My dad took
Baby
a shotgun
music.
and told my mom and me
I
to
love
stay in my
baby
room and
music.
not move. I was scared for my dad's safety, but I felt relieved when my dad said my neighbor's name. He informed us that a water pipe had broke in our backyard and the water was spraying his house and broke one of his windows.
It was just a pipe.
He was nice about the situation.
So there's no
and
ghosts
even
anymore?
said he'd help us fix the
Hope
pipe.
not.
Maybe they left.
My dad got the shovels, as the pipes were underground, and we had to dig to see what was wrong and how we could fix it. As we started digging, they realized that they needed other materials, and they went to get it, leaving me alone in the backyard.
Oh, don't leave him alone.
No, oh no, oh no.
He's a kid.
It's just a
And
baby.
one light post a block away from my house. I was off. I mean, how could they leave an 8-year-old boy there by himself in the dark?
Exactly.
I didn't say anything about it. About 10 minutes had gone by since they left, and I was wondering what was taking them so long. They were only getting some materials after all. But as I was going to go back inside,
Should he go back inside?
I saw
Cassie?
something moving really fast at the corner of my eye. I froze.
So fast.
I wanted to
That's a
run,
boogeyman.
but I couldn't.
Boogie monster.
I wanted to scream, but I couldn't.
Oh,
All I could
oh,
do
he's
was
flexible.
close my eyes.
Yeah, I kind of
I
like
started
his
to
like
freak out,
abilities. Oh no,
looking
he's
around to
scary.
see
I
what
like.
the hell was running around me. I didn't see anything. It was as if there was nothing there at all. But then I looked to my right, and I saw something that haunts me to this very day. It was a demon, in my opinion.
Oh no.
It was so tall, around 7 or 8 feet tall.
a shinigami.
Long, skinny legs with a really buff body.
Japanese.
It also had very long spiral horns, and his eyes shined in the dark. I still couldn't move. The thing ran by me, looked at me, but it didn't do anything to me. It just
Okay.
looked at me.
Maybe it's friendly.
It could have
Yeah,
been
maybe he
goat
just
or
wants a
sheep.
buddy.
I've never seen
Yeah,
one
like
so
everybody
big
needs
or
a
one that
friend.
walks on 2 legs like
Like
a
I have you.
It
You just
ran.
need a friend.
I hid behind a big tree by my neighbor's house.
I'd want to ride his back.
Finally, I could move. I yelled at the top of my lungs while crying hysterically. My dad came running with his shotgun in hand and asked me what was wrong. I explained what I saw to him, but
Did you not see the demon?
nor did
Dad's
my
never
mom.
gonna believe him.
But
Parents
someone
don't
did.
understand.
My neighbor told me that he thought nothing happened to me because I'm a kid. As time passed, I slowly got over it. I moved from that house and moved to New York.
Good.
Sold the house, and I left that experience in the past.
Oh, that was really,
That was
really
so
scary.
I went and grabbed a blanket because I couldn't handle it.
I was wondering where you went.
I'm never leaving the covers again.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I
Hopefully
think
my
I've had
parents-
enough, Cassie. I can't. It's too scary.
Yeah, me neither. I'm gonna ask my parents if I can sleep in their bed tonight. And hopefully they believe me when I say monsters are real.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll meet you on your channel for more scary movies in a bit.
Okay.
Link is in the description.
Hey, you're a baby. You're not supposed to know that.
Oh, but I do. I know things I shouldn't.
And you watch things you shouldn't.
So don't tell mom and dad.
I won't.
Bye, guys!